Oh, yeah. All right. So, welcome. This is not a real estate podcast. I'm Caleb, and this is Luke. We are both sub two students, and we were having just a really handy phone call the other day between the two of us. I don't know, just kind of sharing our experiences and seeing if we could help each other out, talking through issues. And I think one of the things that came up, that the reason I'm doing this recording here, is because we touched on the concept of MVP, minimum viable product. And for Luke, that wasn't something he had heard of before. And I've read way more books than I've taken action on. So I've got like tons of academic knowledge that I've not put to practice. But that was something I could bring to the table for him, because he's in a stage where he needs to get that MVP, minimum viable product, so that he can move forward. So, Luke, welcome to my Not a Podcast. This is just going to be a sporadic little, when I feel like making a recording with somebody, that's what we're going to do. So, welcome.
Cool. Thank you. Good to be here. Hello. I'm in Eastern Washington, as you can see.
So, what have you been working on lately that we were discussing that you need a minimum viable product for? What was holding you up, and what's going to push you forward?
Yeah. So, newbie investor. Have real estate background. I'm still a realtor, not full time. I have a W-2 now, but but new to the real estate investing space and trying to figure out. I tend to overthink and overanalyze things, and so I'm very aware that I don't know what I don't know, and so I think I try to compensate for that. And in terms of like what I've been looking at is just getting started with systems, and so different people say use Podio, others say use REI Sift, and there's a number of platforms out there, but really kind of the main one of the comments I saw in the group was like, you know what? It's really not about the CRM. It's just about just go and take action, just do it kind of thing.
Exactly.
And so,
yep. And you were showing me a whole list of all the different CRMs that you had options to do, and you're like, what's great about this one? What's great about that one? You were looking at doing like a whole analysis spreadsheet, and we got into nerd mode of because I've made a comparative analysis spreadsheet that takes 40 to 80 hours, and I did that for an IT product or service as kind of a part of a previous job, and people love to see that stuff. But do you need that much work for what you're doing right now?
No, definitely not. But I think I try to strike the balance of being thoughtful and just get something done. And so anyway, so I'm glad it's great that you and I connected, because I think you pushed me over the edge of like, hey, just what's your MVP? And I was like, huh? That terminology is new to me, but it makes sense. It's common sense, but common sense isn't always common, right?
Yeah. So, well, and MVP really starts from what is it you're trying to accomplish, right? And what is that for you right now?
Yeah, great, thanks. I need someone to keep me on track here. My goal is I want to. So right now it's January 20th. I want revenue from a deal in the first quarter here. So
there you go.
By the end of March, so I want to get my hands on a deal. One of the things Pace talked about at that the Zoom we just had here, the last one of 2021, he said, hey, just get started with something. You don't have to have a big audacious goal like his, but plug into someone's business, just get moving on something. So
yeah, and he said, I think basically what he said was, if you're new and you have not done something yet, and you're ready to do something, or you want to do something, or whatever that is, get your hands on a deal. It doesn't have to be your deal. Get involved with somebody. Find a way to provide value. I don't care if you get paid or don't get paid. Get your hands on a deal, because you can only learn so much by studying and watching videos and chatting on Facebook and all this other stuff. Find somebody who's doing business. Find a way to add value to them. Get involved in a deal. And so with this MVP concept, you start at the future, right? You want some revenue from a deal this quarter. So how do you get there? And you start working backwards from that. And what you're working on right now is, I want a CRM. I want something to track my leads and track my progress, so that I can get that stuff done. Is that absolutely necessary to get a deal done? No, but if that's the route you're going to take, then you got to realize that, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to get the basics in place. Let's test it out. and change it as we need to. That's minimum viable product, right? So what do we need to have in place? The basics. Let's try it out. Let's start using it and shift and change as we go, because we're going to learn on the fly. The
Yeah.
fastest to fail is the fastest to be able to change.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, with that in mind, I'm just gonna set up a Podio. I like this app called.
Is Podio the very best CRM?
Debatable. I mean, I probably not, but again, it's
that's a trick question, man. The answer is
the best CRM is the one you use.
That's right. Thank you. The best one is the one that you will use.
Yeah, exactly. And so, for me, I'm just going to get started with a Podio. And then I signed up for an open phone account, which I really like the mobile app. Another student, Jorge.
Now, could you do that with your cell phone? Could you do the?
Yes. So minimum viable.
Not that I'm saying you shouldn't. Well, if you're doing cold calling, I would actually recommend not doing it with your cell phone, right?
Yes.
Is it possible? Yes. Is it the best or the wisest decision? No. So,
no.
And for me in my business, I'm only calling other people's leads that have already been qualified and they're ready for. I only do creative closing, right? So by the time I call, I can call with my cell phone. And it's okay for the sellers to have my cell phone number, because I'm not cold calling. Nobody's going to file a complaint. People know I'm supposed to call, or it's an appointment or something like that. And I'm just coming at it from a different angle.
That's a great point. I didn't know that. And I just was starting to say this guy, Jorge here in the Seattle area. He, I heard that he was a really good door knocker. I want to be a door knocker. I think that's, that playing to my strengths. I like being face to face. And he told me kind of in passing, hey, obviously you don't leave your personal phone number. And I said, wait, what? I didn't know that, because, people will come after you, pissed and stuff. So, but my minimum
Google voice number or something like that you can get rid of.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm going to be getting a Podio and an open phone. I actually already have my open phone set
Perfect. Up. All right. And how much time are you going to spend setting up your Podio?
I mean, I'm still learning, I'm not a crazy amount of time. I mean, I have a list, that I need to, skip trace and, I guess I'm still deciding as far as what to do in terms of like, do I put it in an REI sift? I may have an account that I can use there with someone. But I was also looking at, batch leads.
Right. So, now, for the sake of minimum viable product, I'm just going to challenge you here. Do you need one of those products or services to get a skip trace list, right? That's your goal.
I don't know. I mean, I thought you need, I'd like to stack the list, but again, I think I've accepted the minimum viable product idea, but it's hard for me to actually like.
Well, and it's really helpful to have somebody else test your assumptions, which is kind of why I'm asking the question. I think it's possible, not that it has to go this way. It's possible that there's somebody else who has PropStream or REI Sift or something else like that hasn't used up their full list of leads. Like, how many leads are you trying to skip trace?
A couple hundred.
Okay, yeah. Their plans include several thousand, right? So post on the Sub2 Facebook group and say, hey, I need somebody to skip trace a list of 300 houses, right? Yeah. Can I jump on a Zoom and pay you for some of your skip tracing stuff, so I don't have to start a whole new subscription just to get these 300? That's going to take me 2 months to get through.
I got a guy here in Washington, another guy who I can use his REI Sift. Okay.
There it is, right there, right? That's minimum. Let's get the list skip traced so that you can get the work done and test it out. Is this a good list for me to skip trace? Do I need to spend a couple $100s a month on software plus skip tracing, etc., or can I get this done once to test out the idea?
Yeah. So there you go.
It. So, and then you reminded me of the Pareto principle, which is
the 80-20 rule. That
80-20 rule.
80% of your results comes from 20% of your effort. So basically focus on the highest and best use of your time.
And vice versa, right? So how can we cut the 80% of your efforts that are only bringing in 20% of your results? And that's where I'm at. Is that was a really good reminder for me, is let me look at what I'm already doing, because I got my MVP out the door. And now I need to look and use that 80-20 rule and say, okay, where am I spending 80% of my time but not getting very much return? And now I need to start cutting that and focusing on the stuff that really is bringing the most revenue in. And for me, that is one guy in particular, one wholesaler is bringing me some really qualified leads. And so I'm going to double down on defining exactly what counts as a really good lead, so that, because I've got a W-2 still. And so I want to be able to zero in on the efforts that are going to bring me a return. And this guy calls me with a hot and ready lead, and we close a sub 2 deal. We get it under contract in 1 or 2 phone calls. So I'll tell you what.
You better milk that.
Yeah.
Squeeze all the juice out of that one.
When Calvin calls me and I'm asleep, I wake up and I answer that phone. I don't do that for anybody else right now. He's bringing deals that are hot and ready. So that's my 80-20. He's got the 20% of the work effort that has been bringing in more than 80% of the deals lately for me. Yeah. So
that's a great realization. You know, mine is, I'm going to hire a lawn service. I'm not going to mow my lawn anymore, because, you know, it's, at first I thought, you know, because we bought our house about 1.5 years ago. And I thought, oh, I work at home. I'm young. You know, I can mow my lawn. Well, it takes me about 2 hours once I've mowed it, you know, trimmed it, blown it, all that stuff. And the previous owners had someone come in weekly. I think it was like $35, maybe $40.
What? Okay.
Yeah. And it's about, you know, I think it was kind of like, you know, the pride in me, or just wanting to do it myself. But now, you know, now getting, you know, around, you know, this kind of group, I'm thinking, you know what, why am I wasting 2 hours?
Unless that's cathartic for you, right? If it's something that helps you relax and clear your mind, or it's your only time to listen to a podcast, cool.
It does. Right? It does a little bit. However, we have a second kid coming. Like I'm in the garage. I have a gym. I can do other things to get that effect. So I'm going to stop.
And it becomes a chore, right? If I do it every once in a while, I've got an 8-year-old kid at this point. He's been mowing since he was 5 on our ride-on mowers and stuff. And it's like, I'll go mow every once in a while when I want to clear my mind. But for the most part, it's a chore for him here. But we live next door to family, and he's been making money. I started him a little business mowing. I'll drive him on a trailer, and I'll do seller calls or other research or network with people while he's mowing a yard for an apartment complex, a heating and cooling company down the street, my rental house in town. And I charge him $5 for gas and maintenance every time, and he keeps the rest. And we split some into, I started a Roth IRA for him. So he's got 20% of his money going in there, which will never ever see taxes, because his income is below the threshold for taxable. So it's considered after-tax income. But like, you know, mowing the yard, that's a rabbit trail. Sorry. Mowing the yard can be relaxing, or it could be a chore. And so you got to look at your life and look at that 80-20 rule. Where am I spending my time? Where am I getting my results?
Yeah. Amen.
I love that. So minimum viable product, we're going to look at systems. You start with your goals, find out what systems you need in place, if any, to get to your minimum viable product. And then what are your action steps you can take to make stuff happen and test it. And then you move from minimum viable product to looking at it from the 80-20 rule. All right, now that I've started, what's good? What do I keep? What do I not keep? And what's my next minimum viable product? Stage 2, and then stage 3.
Yeah. I think for someone like me, and I think a lot of people, like, it's very tempting to want to get it right, then get it out. But this is a situation where you just get it out and then tweak, and then you get it right as you iterate on that.
My favorite question to hate in all of the Facebook groups is, what's the best X? What's the best Y? What's the best Z? Don't even waste my time with this. You're in the wrong mindset. And that's what this recording is all about. What is the right mindset? How do you approach? Sure, look at it from like Google research, what's the best, and don't spend more than 10 or 15 minutes. Pick and stick, baby. Because here's the thing. You're going to find something with Podio that you hate. And then you're going to spend hours converting it over to something else. Unless you know ahead of time not to do this, you're going to spend hours and hours, maybe a week or 2, converting from Podio to something else. And guess what? The problem you hate won't be there. Yay! Then 2 weeks later, you find out there's a different problem that you hate. And you do it again and again, and you're going to hate something every place.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other big idea is have a battle buddy, have someone, who you can, routinely just, chop it up with and bounce ideas and kind of, cover for your blind spots. I mean, we all blind spots, and
Yeah.
that's chatting with you, Caleb, helped me realize, just pick something and go with it. You can change it later. So
And
having
some people need a lot of encouragement. I'm not the encouragement type. I need the you're the idiot. You're an idiot type of battle buddy, right? I need somebody to say, why are you doing
same
that? Right?
same
Wait a minute. Look at it from this perspective. Whatever you're doing right now is stupid.
yeah yeah. All right, we're at 20 minutes.
All right, man. One last thing for this recording. I had somebody say that they couldn't afford to get into sub 2 and they asked for a recommendation. So this is a shout out to that person. Listen, if you can't afford to get into sub 2, there are other ways to approach it, right? I can think of 3 right now. They will offer a payment plan if you ask, right? If you ask nicely, they'll put you on a payment plan. That said, you can also, if you're out there trying to do deals, I don't care if you're new or you're experienced, if you're trying to do deals, get something, find a way to bring value to one of those people. Get in the free Facebook with Pace, free creative finance with Pace Morby Facebook group, and find ways to bring deals, right? So what if you don't make money on a JV? Does it bring opportunity to interact with those people, or does it help you get to the point where you can take some money and spend it on getting into the mentorship? Because I'll tell you, on this side of the mentorship, on the inside, bro, this is an incredible community. So yes, you should want to get in here. And no, I'm not hyping it. Like, I have made more relationships inside this mentorship than I have anywhere else, and it is fantastic. The other option, which I'm not officially recommending, although I will admit this is what I did, I got a 0% for 18 months interest credit card, right? 0 interest for 18 months, and I've got 18 months to figure out how to make my money back. Guess what? I already did. So I'm all right.
Yeah. But did you pay off the credit card?
Still working on that. Still working on that. No, I actually used my cash to buy some from a couple of deals to buy more cryptocurrency mining stuff. So that's going to pay off my credit card.
Okay, right on. I did the financing route. I did the several payments, and so that's been good for me.
Yep. So there's several ways to overcome it and get in, but sometimes you may just have to do your first deal, because I can promise you this: if you're not going to take action and do a deal outside the mentorship, then just buying the mentorship is not going to fix that for you. So I think that's a good minimum viable product. Sub 2 is not your minimum viable product. Minimum viable product is find a way to get a deal done. JV, whatever it is, get your MVP, and then if you still want to, spend some of that money on getting inside the mentorship, and it will just up your game. But sub 2 is not your game in and of itself. It will up your game.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, thanks for spending some time with us and watching this. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.